Okay, hello. Yeah, hi, everybody. It's me, Peter Dunn. Peter Nicholas Dunn. My mom once told me if I was a girl, she was going to name me Adrian. That's superfluous information. Joining me now is Kristen Elanius, mother-to-be.
Yes.
And Damian Dunn, father that is.
Correct.
Daddy.
Yeah, well, no, let's not go too far.
Daddy. I was going to call you Daddy. Hi, Sarah Renfro. Having lunch with your colleague today. Hello, Jeremiah. Fancy of you to join us. Clearly, you're not recording a show because I know that takes all day for the Boss Hog of Liberty. Hello, Jameson. Been many moons since I've been able to listen live. Well, I'm wearing an Aloha shirt for those that enjoy a good visual from Hawaii.
Mahalo.
Kristen, I know you're not a movie goer or viewer, but Dame, this is directed to you. Kristen, no hate. I just I don't want to get you have that look on your face and then I feel dumber. Dame, I went and saw the new Superman movie this week with my family.
Oh,
now I love the Marvel movies, and I know where this is the DC situation here. I love the Marvel movies, so I go. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the start of a completely new universe. This movie is a jumping off point for James Gunn's vision of the D. And look, I just need an escape. I just need to go. So I'm watching the movie, and like every dummy ever before, I'm watching the Clark Kent Superman thing, and I'm saying to myself, you're telling me that by simply putting glasses on, Superman is unidentifiable, right? It's an absurd idea, right?
are you trying to play a trick on us? Are you subtly giving us a hint that you have an alter ego?
Not exactly, but I will say this. I was at the grocery store a day after the movie, just picking up something on the way home. And I had done a bit on the way home from the movie to my wife. You're telling me it takes off his spectacles and no one has any idea who this ripped, handsome man is. And he was giggling, doing little giggles. And then I'm at the grocery store and I had sunglasses on because it was super bright out. And then I didn't bring my glasses I normally wear. And so I just take my sunglasses off. I'm walking around the store, glassless, spectacleless. Run into a friend of mine. I say, hey, Jeremy, not our coworker, different Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. And Jeremy says to me, oh, Jeremy, me, Peter Dunn. He's like, oh, I didn't recognize you without your glasses.
That did not happen.
1,000% happen. You guys, I'm going to take off my glasses. This is how we try to get YouTube.
You do look significantly different.
True. Most people, it is not that big of a deal, but you do kind of look like
I look wildly different.
All right, let's do it.
We'll do it. But I just to preface, I've been called a couple different things without my glasses. Hello, Rick Swink, and hello, Andy. My daughter feels that I look like a thumb, and I've shared that. I've also been called Beige Shrek, right? So it is markedly different. Are you ready? And this is the time, if you're listening to the podcast, audio only, go to YouTube or wherever and 4 minutes and 21 seconds. And this is the moment. Just skip forward. And here we go.
Removing glasses. I mean, that's a different person. I don't care who you are. That is a completely different person.
Do you also look like different people?
Dame looks like me with glasses.
So 2 offices ago,
yes,
we did that.
I have that picture.
Glasses on. Yeah, and I look remarkably like Pete, even though we are not related, as far as we know.
Apparently,
but no way. Kristen, what do you look like with glasses?
I feel like the same.
Kristen, you texted us on our personal time last night.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. But no, you did text us last night and you said, guess how many checks Millennial Kristen has written this month or this week?
This week.
because you're not a check writer.
Yeah.
But you often write checks that your body can't cover. That's a thing. It came out creepy.
Yeah.
Dean, how many checks do you think she's written this week?
Well, for context, if I remember correctly, Kristen, you wrote one check a year or a quarter or something for HOA fees or something for a previous place, and then I don't know if there were 5 other checks that you wrote during a year outside of that.
A little bit less than that, actually. I'm pretty sure that in the last 3 years since I got a checkbook, I didn't have one before that. In the last 3 years since I got a checkbook, I think I wrote 5 checks.
Okay. 3 years, 5 checks. I'm going to say that you wrote 6 checks this week.
I'm going to go 3. And here's my thinking. You just had a big fence project, right?
In progress, yes.
Okay, so I think you had to make a payment on that. I think you probably had to make a payment on a couple things and then another one just to make it worth a story. So, because otherwise you're not texting. Like, hey, I wrote 2 checks. No one cares. It has to be 3 for this to have been worth a text. And the answer is...
The answer is I've written 4 checks.
See, I knew it had to be at least 3. So, Dame, I get the under, maybe?
You win.
I don't even know how to keep track of these things.
It literally is called a check register.
Right. But I'm not keeping up with that. And the one guy that I had to write a check to, the last check that my person wrote to him, he didn't cash it for a month and a half.
Well, I'll tell you this. When you make a deposit into my Indiana 529 college savings plan, they accept checks, and they don't accept Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, but it's on ACH. That just comes out on the 1st. I don't even have to worry about it.
Dame, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I just realized that we didn't have any audio issues at 5 whatever it was today.
Pete got kind of muffled, but I didn't hear the air brake or whatever it is.
Yeah. Interesting.
Kristen, any comments on the wrong show? Good morning, beautiful people. David says, "Good morning, Baby K and company." There is a name. Have you gone podcast public with the baby name? Because I know the name, but I'm never outing it.
She announced it a couple weeks ago. I thought
on the show.
I thought.
I don't know if I've said on the show, but I mean, everybody knows that everybody in our life, I think, basically knows that her name is Margaret. Mags, Big Marge, Maggie.
You ever see Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Mm-mm. I know who he is, but I've not seen that movie.
Dame, the look on your face says it all.
Yeah, I've seen the.
Don't make fun of my unborn child.
I'm not. There's a character named Large Marge in the show. I'm not making fun. Andy did it.
What if she's born really chubby?
I was born really chubby and still am. Look at this. This is a great point. Peggy is definitely a nickname for Margaret. Did you know that? Yes, 1,000%.
Really?
Yes.
How many more can there be? This poor kid isn't going to know her name.
Peggy out of Margaret.
Here's one for you. Did you know, and this may or may not be true, but I believe it is. Nick, that should be the name of our show. This may or may not be true. A nickname for Sarah, which is Mrs. Planner's government name, is Sally.
No.
What?
No. Gospel. It's true.
It's not true.
1,000%ish. No. Margaret's a beautiful name. The Rev is bringing it back to the reality. It is a lovely name.
Margaret is a lovely name.
Yeah. Okay. I think so too. Wait, Sarah. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Sarah's name is Sarah. Sarah. And she says it's true that Sally is a nickname for that.
Sarah, no one calls you Sally, right?
I don't know. I don't actually call Mrs. Planner anything other than whatever she asked to be called. But yeah, fair enough. All right. Do we want to do a thing? Oh, fun topic this week.
Yeah.
Fun topic this week. You know, though,
By a listener.
I'll be honest. Oh, Chris Denny says that artificial intelligence agrees that Sally is a nickname for Sarah.
What does it know?
Rick Swink had a question. Kristen, does being pregnant have any effect on your opinion of referring to the time before you're born as when you were dead? That is a fair question.
Thank you, Rick.
That's a great question, Rick. She is very much alive now on account of she kicks me like crazy. But before she was in there, she was dead.
She was in.
You're trying too hard to stick to the bit. It's just not going to work anymore.
Dame, if you want to look into the lion's mouth and say such things, feel free.
I am separated by nearly 70 miles. I'm okay.
Doesn't feel like enough. We are talking, the topic today is one of those topics that if you're going to have to hear about it, I'll be honest, it's best to hear about it from us.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think I have very few skills. One of them is making awful topics palatable. And today, that's what you get.
Well, let's see how this goes.
Put that on LinkedIn. We'll endorse you.
You know how I always expect at some point in time that I'll have to make a public apology for something?
Right.
Yes.
I feel today could be the aftermath of today's show could bring that.
I don't know if I go that far. It's uncomfortable for some people. For some people, this won't be an issue at all.
You know, I've actually, the point you just made, Dame, there, it was a subtle point. And when I was thinking about this show this morning, that's where I got, is that the people who have done this, and this have no problem talking about this. Yeah. But it's the people who haven't done this, and this, who are wildly flipping to the Flagrant podcast or something right now. They're not listening to the rest of this show because they have some shame, but they shouldn't. They should just listen and maybe make a change.
Yeah, stick around. You don't even know what you're avoiding yet. So stick around to find out what you're avoiding and then make the decision.
Guys, here's the topic today. Your parents are divorcing. No, I'm just kidding. That's Chris's joke. Chris, thank you for all the goodness today. We're talking about, what are we talking about? Dying? Being dead?
Yes.
Yes.
I was hoping to really not talk about this, but Jason brought it up. Did you guys happen to see the Coldplay video yesterday?
Who hasn't seen it?
Yeah, it's the only thing on TikTok or X. I mean,
you guys.
TikTok. Yeah.
Let's be as respectful as we can with also not making accusations as we talk about this. But if what is reported is the truth, holy Moses.
Is the truth. You have eyes.
Yeah, but it's the internet, so you don't.
There is no other explanation for what my eyes have seen.
I saw the video before I read the caption, so it like sort of autoplayed, and I saw the reaction, and my brain went to the same place that Chris Martin's brain was, which was like, oh, that's got to be two people having an affair.
Yeah.
Like that's the only physical reaction you can have when you are jumbotroned.
If they just would have no-sold it and had no reaction, do you think anybody would have noticed?
That's a really good question.
No way. The odds of someone knowing them, looking at the Jumbotron at that time, and also having the video evidence to then not gaslight themselves into thinking that's not what they saw, they'd have been fine.
I've created all sorts of scenarios in my mind how that all went down. Like it was a company convention in a city, and
sure,
various people went and did their things that night. Some people went to the Coldplay concert, and then they see that and they're in the know and they're looking up and they're like, holy moly.
You saw the follow-up story that the woman who was off to our left, stage right, who was looking very awkward and sheepish, was the head of HR for that company.
No,
she was the head of HR.
No, she was the chief people officer, and then there was an HR person there as well.
Let's not get too specific. I don't need.
Sorry,
let's not get into that.
Okay.
Danza says when reunion goes oh so wrong. So our annual event here at Your Money Line is called Reunion, where everyone comes in from around the country. Needless to say, that won't happen unless it's just me and Dame, right?
Right.
I'll wrap my arms around that, man.
For what it's worth, I do. There are parties involved here that I feel bad for, which is their respective children.
Oh, yes.
That's really unfortunate.
Let's bail. I don't want to get too specific or too personal.
You're talking about Pete and Mai's kids. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they don't mind. They're basically cousins. All right. We're talking about funeral planning and final, like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to have the talk. You'd bet it should just come from us. Just be honest.
Andy just made a request.
Can you and AI replicate that with Dame and Pete? Absolutely. I'll work on that as we start the show. I'll have these people do a thing, and then I'll work on that. Okay. So here we go. You ready? I'm not. 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here is how the show works. You email us Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. That's Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. And here's what happens. Well, like today, we'll read your email on the air, and then we'll answer it. Entire episode dedicated to you. You can't get that sort of attention unless you fall in love with AI. Joining me on the show is Kristen Alanius, Peggy Mommy. Hello, Kristen. How are you?
Love Pete.
Hi, Dame.
Just back from a Coldplay concert. Thanks.
Oh, well, good to hear. Good day, the email begins, meaning longtime listener. That is code for longtime listener. Love the show and listen to the podcasts. By the way, if you want to listen to the podcast, do so at wherever you get podcast. Search Pete the Planner. If you have covered the topic of funeral planning, I have missed it. My husband and I are 70 and healthy.
Time out. There we go.
You know what? Look, I'll be honest. I take a lot of pride in that a 70-year-old woman listens to this show, because sometimes I think my humor is sophomoric and a turnoff to anyone with a brain. And to know that a lovely, seasoned listener at 70 is listening to this and enjoying it means a lot to me. Dame, do you believe that?
I do. We had, didn't we have somebody who was another fitness aficionado that sent in an email, a similar demographic, I believe. Listen to us while she was working out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fitness update at the break.
Yeah.
We are wondering if planning and paying for our final interments. Is it internments? Is it interments?
I think it's inter.
No,
inter, not interned.
Well, depends. Is a financially sound decision. We have talked with cemetery and mortuary firms. A good estimate for 2 people to be interred is between $20,000 to $30,000 American dollars. That number includes cemetery, visitation, burial, and monument. Gosh, my monument will be massive. We also want to remove as much decision making that needs to occur at the time of death. My husband and I want to remove the sting out of the difficult days following a loved one's demise, or in my case, a party. We can afford to prepay for the arrangements and lock in the cost at today's prices. My question for your team, that's Kristen's team, respectfully, is this a sound financial decision? I don't want to take down the vibe of the show, but I feel like this is a topic might be interest to your viewers and listeners. And that's the email. Name withheld. She may have put her name on there, but I didn't copy it over.
Yeah.
Or you didn't.
You didn't.
Dame, I've had various thoughts about this topic over time. And Kristen, I'm sorry here, but Dame and I are much, 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 much older than you.
Indeed, we are.
Like, we really are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so, Dame, I'll save the last 2-3 years as I'm not staring down mortality, but I'm definitely become more self-aware of death is undefeated. My views on this have changed a bit. So I'm anxious to have this conversation with you all, but maybe we'll start with the young person on the show who doesn't sit around and think about felt lined coffins all the time. Kristen, what strikes you here?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could just like hit a pro con list. Like,
Yeah.
why should you do this? Why should you not prepay for a funeral? Thoughts?
Okay. Let's do it. We got 3 segments of the show dedicated to this. And of course, biggest waste of money of the week. And depending on how these first 3 segments go, maybe interment is the biggest waste of money of the week. We'll see. We'll start with the pros, cons. Are you doing the pros? And let's have Dame be negative Nancy, and he can do the cons.
That shoe fits.
Okay. So go ahead. Chris, take us down the pros.
Okay. So, one, I mean, you could lock in today's price. I mean, what could the cost of a funeral be should this couple, they say they're in great health? What if they, are around for 20 more years? What could the increase in the price of a funeral be by the time it comes time to actually spend those dollars? I think that's a pro.
That is interesting. So, Dame, do you buy that? I'll have you vet the pros. Do you buy that?
I mean, there's something to be said for it. I think there's other potential ways you might be able to accomplish the same thing. But yeah, I mean, who knows if there's going to be changes in regulations in that industry or anything like that, or who knows? It might get super, super expensive during that time period. So yes, it locks in today's prices at some level. I will agree with that.
I have, by the way, can I time out?
Time out.
I'm out.
There we go.
I have questions about this. Interment means you're getting stuck in a wall or something? Like what's an interment? Is it just burial? What's interment?
I took it to mean that it was the whole from the moment I pass to the moment that I'm buried based on the context, but I don't actually know.
It's the act of placing a deceased person or their cremated remains in their final resting place.
Okay, so cremation comes into this.
Could.
So this is interesting. Again, the entire show is based on a topic that no one ever really talks about, which is the burial and final expenses, but we're going to do it in, I can't say a mature way, but certainly maybe an engaging, entertaining way. Damn, I got to think. I don't know. I didn't read the pre-planning documents of the show today. There's choices to be made here. If you choose cremation, what costs $20,000 because a Bic lighter is like $350?
It's significantly cheaper to be cremated right now than have a traditional funeral, burial, buying the coffin, the whole deal. If you choose, you want to get put in the ground, your ashes put in the ground. Shovels aren't that expensive. I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding. But yeah, cremation, way, way, way cheaper.
Have you, Dame, again, old man talk. Yeah. Old man. There were 2 old men talking. Have you thought about what you want?
I know what I want.
What do you want? Are you willing to share that? I don't want to
I'm going to be cremated. And Mrs. advice is too. My dad, when he passed away, was cremated. I knew that's what he wanted because we had a conversation about a year before he passed away. When there were no apparent health issues with that. And I have a feeling we'll get into that kind of discussion here in a little bit so I can talk about the benefits of having this discussion with your loved ones ahead of time. But I knew that going in, and when I was asked at the funeral home, when presented with the 2 options, traditional service and burial versus cremation, it was nearly a $10,000 difference.
My thoughts in my situation, I'm going to make some pretty bold comments that sound incredibly judgmental, but they're not really meant to be. They're not really financial in nature, but they are resource oriented in nature. And it is this. It feels really self-indulgent to just park yourself on the earth and be like, my spot, no one else. This is mine forever. Build around me. I find that to be weird. And so I'm like, burn it up. Just say, like, make me part of it. Like, don't coordinate. It's like I live in Carmel, Indiana, where on the 4th of July parade, for 2 weeks ahead, people set their lawn chairs out and put tape so people can't sit where these people want to sit 2 weeks later. That's what being buried feels like to me. It's like, no. This is my space. And I don't mean my friend is Tom. I mean, you can't embark in this area. That's how I feel. But then it feels really judgmental to share that. Kristen, Who's right?
Oh, I don't feel like I want to have an opinion on that, to be perfectly honest with you, Peter.
That's fair. Well, that's why this is how the show works. So we made it through one pro.
Yeah, one pro.
Great.
Coming up after the break, the rest of the pros, some of the cons, more judgment. I don't know. You decide. That's all next on the Pete the Planner show. I'm Pete the Planner. I did that segment, I don't know, 5 seconds early. We'll let him do it in post-production.
It died early.
All right, guys. I have a little treat. A little treat for everybody.
Little treat.
I have a picture of... What's that, Dave?
Did AI work that fast?
Well, I'll just say this. Dame and I went to a Coldplay concert recently.
Oh, no.
I told everybody at the beginning
I
of the
thought you said we were failing on this topic.
No. We on the personal nature and the details of others. Now we're in make-believe.
Okay.
Okay, so let me show you something. Okay. You guys, this is Dame and I at the Coldplay concert. And this is right when Chris Martin sang his famous song. But what are the?
You don't know any
But I was so distracted by the love that we felt for each other that night.
Yeah.
Now, between the next break, I'm going to share with you the image that what happened once we were put on the Jumbotron. Okay.
That'll be great.
Let me get this off the screen so I can do something important. This portion of the program brought to you by Herculean Meal Prep. Look, my brain gets obsessed with things in my life, and it's all I care about. And at this point in my life, keeping my nutrition right is what matters to me. In fact, I'm going to one of my favorite restaurants for lunch today. I'm not even looking forward to it because it's not as easy as Herculean Meal Prep. They are frozen. In fact, they're flash frozen and hard frozen. And after 3 minutes and 45 seconds in the microwave, I'm eating something delicious, nutritious, cost conscious, and as convenient can be. I have gotten to a point where I just want to put a deep freeze in my freezer and fill that sucker full of 100 Herculean Meal Prep meals because it just makes my life easier. If you're serious about your fitness, if you're serious about convenience, and you're serious about deliciousness, go to HerculeanMealPrep.com. You can order this and it will be delivered to your door, and it will be colder than my heart. I also have to note, you can go in store and pick them up too if you're in Central Indiana, and just say, Pete the Planner sent you, and they will look at you with glee. That's HerculeanMealPrep.com.
I believe they have a Northeast Indiana location as well.
Oh, that's right. I said Central Indiana.
It's all right.
Here's the thing. My reads of those ads are so good because they're so honest. I love it. Yesterday was buffalo chicken mac and cheese.
Oh, man. Sounds delicious.
Oh, it was amazing. 36 grams of protein. You guys want a vessel update? This your temple?
Oh, I thought you were talking about a golf bag. But that's all right.
No. Guys, I've dropped 6% body fat in the last 2.5 months.
And
Nice.
Kristen found it.
Kristen, stop it. You look great. Locked in. Sat down with my trainer this morning, and we didn't say we were standing. Sitting down with your trainer feels weird. We were standing, clapping, dusting the chalk off of ourselves. We don't use chalk. And I said, this new phase of what we're doing, we got to get some new goals in here. So it's a good time. Good time. When they cremate this body, man, it is going to be lean as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I love the awkwardness of this. Let's sit in it. That's great. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to lunch at my 49th and Penn Patachou is like one of my favorite lunch moments. Have you ever been there together? The 49th and Penn one?
No, we went to the one that is over, I think still over Keystone.
Yeah, it's there. Something about that. I love that restaurant, but I'm going today. I'm just like, I guess I have to like think. I have to like make choices. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Make AI do it for you.
Okay, so a live stream listener, L, I believe. No, it's EL. I know I'm super behind, but is there actual eyewitness research that would support the idea that people would not recognize Clark Kent as Superman? Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Eyewitness reports are notoriously unreliable.
That's fair.
I know they say that on TV shows, but I didn't know if that was true.
I just keep staring at this picture of Dame and I, and it's so good. So I'm going to be altering it during the next segment as we go through the pros here, which we're going to start right now.
Glad we'll have your full attention.
What's that?
So I'm glad we'll have your full attention.
That was a joke, dummy. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Talking interment. No, here's what we're doing today. Got a great email question of saying, look, you guys talk about a lot of financial things on the show. Our emailer said, we're thinking about doing some pre-planning for funeral expenses to take the burden off our loved ones and to buy low, die high, or something like that. And so that's what we're doing today. And we're doing it this way. Kristen, our beloved Kristen, will read the pros of doing this. And then Dame will read the cons. So Kristen, let's continue with the pros. You started with what?
Locking in the price.
Okay. And then where do we go from there?
I mean, we can talk about the exact opposite side of that, which is the emotional burden. So pre-planning takes so much of that away from your family, the decision making, having to go in and choose, arrangements and things. If they don't have to make any of those decisions, it's a huge pro for your family after, Damian Dunn raises his hand on the show.
I need to point out a significant difference in what you just said. Pre-planning versus prepaying. Pre-planning is free. You can do all of that whenever you want and have those directions distributed to whoever you want so everybody knows. And I agree wholeheartedly, by the way, that you absolutely should pre-plan your funeral or whatever you want to happen. Prepaying, I think, is the item at discussion here.
Fair, but also I think the aspect of even if you pre-plan your funeral, your family still is faced with the financial decisions of the choices that you wanted them to make. So there's no check to write. You're right. There is a distinction with a difference, but I do think that it's still a pro.
I supported them for years. The least they can do is put me down for one last nap. I'm just kidding.
I know we're not to the cons or anything like that or the buts, but
okay.
What if I think it matters if the people have life insurance and the leverage of life insurance, which creates, we'll just call it a multiple of assets. Mm-hmm. That leverage point can more easily afford funeral planning, no matter what the price increases. Is that a dumb idea?
There's a big issue with that, though. Unless you pass away while you have life insurance, this is a non-issue because most people aren't going to carry whole life insurance into their retirement years. It's going to be a very small percentage of people that have that kind of coverage. Now, if you pass away when you're younger, you've got term insurance and whatever. I absolutely encourage people to make sure that those costs are accounted for when we're having that discussion. But if you pass at a normal age, U.S. average, whatever that is now, 82, 85, whatever it is, the chances that there's insurance there is slim to me.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Well, I was going to say, I think that that's why it's even more important potentially to prepay if there's life insurance involved, because if there are discretionary dollars made available when you pass, is there a greater chance that your family is, I don't want to say taken advantage of, because I don't mean it like that, but like they would maybe spend more in an emotional time than they would have if you would have already written that check.
I was just thinking that too. Like you talk about taking the hassle out of it. There's taking the logistics out of it, but there's also taking the mental and decision-making burden out of it, which is pretty brutal. Yay?
Yeah, I guess I can buy into that. So, by the way, update. In 2023, the life expectancy for men in the United States was
82.7 years old.
That's too old, I think. 78?
75.8.
Yeah. Our life expectancy has gone down in the US, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good as food dies. I'm just kidding. It's probably not. Next, pro, Kristen?
I have one more, and this is for a slightly more niche group, but if you're someone who is participating in any way, shape, or form in Medicaid planning, this could be an important way to make some of your assets exempt. So in the state of Indiana, I believe the limit's like 10 grand that you can set aside. And there's a lot of rules and regulation that go around that. What can be paid for, what can't, are there limits in your state? But if Medicaid planning is part of your estate planning strategy, prepaying for a funeral can protect some of those assets.
And Kristen, one of the main reasons that somebody might consider doing some Medicaid planning might be long-term care planning. You're going to do Medicaid planning, this kind of planning around long-term care uses,
yes,
primarily.
When I think about that, this is a loaded word. I think a person has a moderate amount of assets, right? Too many to want to lose to just go on Medicaid long-term care assistance, which is not a phrase, but not enough to self-insure for the long game. Kristen, I think this is an incredibly nuanced point, and I'm not critical of that point. I think it is also, I don't want to make a judgment to it. I question the end, if you will. I question how many people. Here, let me restate this. There's 3 scenarios. I just named them. You self-insure because you're loaded. You have a moderate amount of assets, so you either plan or you suffer, or you don't have many assets, and so Medicaid's the strategy there. The question is, what are the percentages of those 3 groups? I don't know, but we can have some fun guessing, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think maybe hits a little closer to home for me, and maybe I'm a little biased because like my grandpa prepaid for his funeral for the same reason. So I would
For Medicaid reasons?
Yes,
Okay.
kind of unintentionally, but it ended up working that way. And so I think that but if we talk about moderate to like low asset households, I mean, that's the majority. More than the majority. That's 75% plus.
That part of the bell curve. Absolutely.
Any more pros?
I think that's plenty. Damian hasn't even gotten to talk yet.
Well, I just got an email. Best show of the year, all listeners. That's weird. Dame, hit the cons here with the 2 minutes we have left.
It's less flexible. A lot of times these contracts will be written specifically with a funeral home, not like a network of funeral homes. So if you, let's say you decide you're going to move, you're going to be, snowbird thing's not for you. You're just going to get out of here and move somewhere else. Make sure the contract says you can get that cash back if at all possible. Otherwise, you just spent money that you can't use or don't want to use.
I never considered that. That is a really good point.
Yeah. What if the funeral home goes out of business?
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. I mean, I think you can plan with like a network, but if it's with one specific home, you do run a risk there, significant.
All right.
Again, the next one on the list was what if they close? Again, it's the same issue we just had. And it also might tie up money that might be better used or invested elsewhere, especially if there's some debt. So you lose all the flexibility with that cash. Inside of just setting that money aside and maybe like a high yield savings account to try and keep up with inflation, where you can get to it if you absolutely need it, you don't have control over that cash anymore. You have just said that this is what it's going to be used for, and it doesn't matter if it's tomorrow or if it's 10 years from now, that cash is theirs.
Again, Dame and I are getting older. I think more about this stuff than I used to. I'm on the fence of whether I would do it personally, and I definitely wouldn't do it right now. I think if I was going to do it, I'd have to be in my mid to late 60s to see, okay, well, I've got a 20, 30 year trajectory likely, or if I'm, average life expectancy, 10 years. I feel like I'd have enough information to better make that decision. It feels like a weird decision to make in my 40s,
Oh, yeah.
I think there's two things that would be true for that is one, you no longer have term insurance, and we'll have to go to the break.
We will go to the break, and we come back. You'll hear this other amazing point that Kristen makes right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Look at you getting hung out to dry.
Like, oh no,
That's never happened.
I didn't look down.
You guys, I've been working with my graphic design team to capture the moment that Dame and I are on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert, and when our secret love is made public. I also want to note that I instructed my art team to pixelate it as though we were on a Jumbotron.
Oh, okay. Great.
And here's what we've got. This is the moment we realize that our public love is everyone's business in the world.
Private love is now public.
Public love, private love is public.
Yeah.
What do we think about this?
That's
actually the faces those folks made, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody in the office has been taking some screen shots of these breaks.
Why does Damian's little avatar look so much older?
Because it gave me a hairline on the side that I don't have.
Okay, do you want the answer to that question? Because it's a nefarious answer.
You did it.
Did you tell it to?
Well, okay, listen. A while ago, when I created these characters, I didn't give it much instruction other than the two men are, I said, significantly older than the young woman, right? Which is true. Then it generated images of Dame and I thought I looked too old. And I said, make the guy in the glasses look younger. And so I am designed to look younger than Dame, but not as young as Kristen. And that's why Dame looks old. And that's the truth.
I mean, in real life, you are younger than me.
Real life.
Rick asked a great question, of which, again, I have an amazing answer. Did you tell the AI to put you in the front and Dame in the back? And the answer is, yeah, I like to be the little spoon. You know what I mean? Like that's, I am the collectible spoon from Disney, and Dame is the household tablespoon.
It'd be really awkward if you were, you'd have to stand on your tiptoes. And even then, I don't know if that would work.
I'd have to stand on my ruck vest. Dame is significantly taller than me. I'm the little spoon. Easy answer, Rick.
Just logistics. That's all that is.
What is happening? This is going the way you guys want it?
Yep. Couldn't have drawn it up better. By the way, I have an apology to make to the audience. I was late to last week's show. If you were here, I was having some audio issues. Unbeknownst to me, there was a major failure of basic U.S. knowledge on this show before I joined last week.
Don't start with
Goodness sake.
The fact that they didn't know which state was the 50th state, I apologize for. That's basic common knowledge, and we'll do better. I'll try to get around for that.
They joined the other 47 or 40. Just said, they joined the other 48 in the same year. Okay.
Show canceled. The rest of the show, we're done. We're going to do some remedial
I forgot math also for a second, but they joined in the same year, Damian.
It's true. They did. They absolutely did.
Dame is a great patriot. I am.
Knowing which state was the last one admitted to our union, I don't know if that qualifies somebody as a great patriot.
I just don't think that many people could confidently tell you.
What state was Indiana?
16.
With what level of confidence do you have that?
Pretty high.
I was
Kristen?
going to say 18.
I was going to say 19. I don't know.
Okay, I'll look. Don't worry.
I'm sure Damian's right. I would never claim to know.
Dame, do you also remember the state capitals, I guess?
I can put all 50 of them on a map.
Indiana was 19th state, but admitted in 1816. That was my mistake.
Oh, that's okay. I can put them all on a map. I feel like that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I think that's tremendous.
See?
Let's move on. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, talking, well, final expense planning. Not a fun topic, but look, if you haven't had what we're calling experts talk through these ideas for you, it's worth a listen, honestly. Like end of life planning, you're not there to do it because you're being honored, and you can either plan before you take off or you can leave it in the hands of others. We got an email question asking, should a person pay $20,000 to $30,000 to take care of this, take it off their survivor's plates? We are discussing, not quite debating it. Kids, where did we land for this person? Did we land, if this, and this is true, then do it. If this isn't true, don't do it. I feel like that's probably where we are.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable spot to come in, because this is this kind of expense is very genuine, a wonderful gift to those that are left behind, but you got to make sure you've got some other boxes checked before you I believe you can get to this level of do we call it financial stability? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think of it this way. Don't withdraw the money out of income generating assets to do it. But if you've got a massive emergency fund that you take chunk money out of that will not lower your income stream, then that is and significant money. Dare I say, at least a year's worth of income, then I think it's a good use of capital. If you, as we like to talk about, Dame, kill a chicken, then you kill the eggs, and you're not going to be able to generate income off an income generating asset if you sell that asset to pay for expense planning. So I think you got to use chunk money, and if you're using something other than chunk money, it ain't for you. That's my opinion.
What if you needed to you have to take required minimum distributions, but you don't need that cash to make ends meet from a month-to-month basis? It's just money that you are forced to withdraw from your accounts due to Uncle Sam's rules, and it's just going to either go to whatever is anything else. But I think that would be, so technically you're removing money from assets, but I think that's money that you could absolutely direct towards that as well.
I still don't think this is a financial decision beyond can you do it. I think it's more of a courtesy.
I would agree with that for sure. I think this is very, very emotional.
Sure. And it's where I get back to, I think the planning part has a bigger impact than the cash side of things. But as we all know, cash makes and financial burdens make families make really weird decisions. It puts them under immense amounts of stress. So if you choose to pre-plan, great. If you want to have money set aside designated for that, like we discussed in the last segment, but you still have access to it if something were to come up, I think that's fine too. But the key thing I think we can all agree on is you have to have this conversation. You have to let people know what's going on, where documents are, and how you want them to be worked out. And the more people you can tell, the better. I mean, don't take an ad out in the newspaper, but if you've got multiple family members who are going to be tasked with going through this grieving process, if you can let them know what you expect to happen, a lot more likely that that's what's going to go down.
Can we talk about the documents involved in this whole thing? Because I think of everything we're going to talk about today, if people can do their best to remember these essential documents of planning, then we win, and they win and people are still dying, but there's some wins. We start with a Dame. Have you choked up there, pal? I know this is an emotional thing, but you literally be choking. Kristen, we start with a will. Is that appropriate for most folks?
I think it's appropriate for most people is to have your will drafted, establish or express your wishes as far as guardianship. If you have minor children, you could lay out some wishes as far as your funeral's concerned in that will. But I definitely think that is one of the key documents that most people need to have.
All right. Trust. Always, anytime we start talking about trusts, people's heads start spinning. I don't want to say people get skeptical, but it can feel like over planning. It can feel intimidating. Dame, is there a simple way that you help people understand this?
If you want to have a little bit more control over what happens to your stuff for a longer period of time, other than just simply bequeathing it to people after you pass, like a will do, a trust is the way you want to go. And if you've got a more complex financial life, this might be something that you really want to consider. Sure, there are certain tax benefits you may be able to get away with when you employ certain kinds of trusts. But for the topic of discussion today, just know that a trust potentially gives you more control over how things are handled after you pass, rather than just a will that tells the court who gets what.
The next document is a personal favorite of mine because of its utility. And it's the durable power of attorney, or just a POA in general. It can get tricky in the sense that, let's say, the next generation is trying to help their parents out and you got multiple siblings, and then it starts to turn into a communication nightmare and all of these different things. But for me, a POA takes a lot of pressure off of everyone involved. I'm curious how you all think about that.
I have a love-hate relationship.
Whoa.
Powers of attorney. I've just seen instances of persons having access that shouldn't. And I think sometimes people feel like they need to have someone to make those decisions, even if they don't know that they can trust someone to make those decisions. And I don't know. It's tough. Like, for the most part, I would agree, but I think that there are many instances that I've seen where someone had no business having that kind of control.
Yeah, POAs are wonderful tools if you absolutely 100% trust the person that you are giving that power to. You can also make them limited in scope if that makes a little bit more sense for your situation. But for the topic we're talking about today, POAs cease when you cease. At this point, that's when the executor steps in and starts to fulfill kind of a similar role to what a POA would at that point. But so if you're looking at a POA as a way to ensure that things go well after you pass, that's just not how that functions in the way our legal system's set up.
Maybe tomato. I would have gone with cease when you are deceased, but I like the direction. Healthcare directive. This is another, I was going to call it a courtesy move to your loved ones. But to be honest, you're actually putting the burden of decision-making on your loved ones. It's almost a reverse courtesy. Hey, would you do me this courtesy is what this one is.
Yeah, that one's tough. You have to make sure that you have designated someone who can honor your wishes, even if you're not sure if in that moment they emotionally would agree with what you had told them you wanted. And as someone who's seen that firsthand, that's harder than you think it's going to be in the moment.
And that's all they're doing is honoring wishes. That has no legal binding agreement to it at that point. So all they're literally doing is saying, this is what they wanted, so this is what we're going to do.
Can I get a bonus tip here for you guys?
Absolutely.
Make sure that person doesn't owe you money. Make sure that person doesn't owe you money. Next up, and this is a simple one, and this is one you should, I was going to say look at every year, but that might be overkill, no pun intended. Beneficiary designations. Dame, you and I have collectively been in this industry approaching 50 years. the number of times that people have ex-spouses and deceased spouses or no one as their beneficiary outnumbers the people who have the proper beneficiary. And I guess I just don't get it.
Absolutely shocking that happens. You would think it is, but it happens all the time. Just set a reminder on your phone, whether it's every year, whether it's every couple of years. Just check it out, whether it's 401k, 403b, IRA, whatever it is. Check them out.
Coming up after the break, biggest waste of money of the week in the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
I had it the whole time.
I know you did, and I held the hand.
You had it primed. It was there. It started to swing outside.
Sorry. You guys doing anything good this weekend? What's happening? What is happening?
What's happening? My family made a trip, left on a trip to the great state of New York, upstate New York this morning, and left me behind. So
I've always wanted to go to upstate New York. And was this like a line in the sand of like, we're done with this, man? Why are you not going?
They're going to see family, and I'm not. I'm staying home watching the family dogs of the families that went. So I'm taking care of them.
Okay, so Dave, this is a really important question I got to ask you. And I know we're running a little bit late, but it doesn't matter. If I'm home alone and my family is not there, I want to tell you what I would do for dinner tonight, and I'm curious what you're going to do.
Okay.
I would go buy a lean steak the size of a teenager's head, and I would grill it and eat it, and it would be delicious, and it would be a prime cut. What are you going to do?
I think there's some leftovers tonight that I'm going to try and get cleaned up, but I will probably throw a piece of meat in a bag for some marination and grill tomorrow.
Kristen, your special friend is on a trip. It's Friday night. You're alone. We got to prepare dinner for you and Margaret. What are you making?
That's funny because I don't put any thought into that. Like, I think no differently when he is or isn't around. But when I am not around, so embarrassing. He goes to Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver's. I stepped on that. Does he go the chicken or the fish?
The fish.
Well, I mean, it's a fair question because they both look and arguably taste the same at Long John Silver's. My dad and I used to go to Long John Silver's when I was a kid, and I have like very special memories from that place.
Yeah. If I come down to the office, the night before tells our oldest dog that how excited they collectively are about the hush puppies they're going to eat the next day.
That's great.
I've never been to Long John Silver's.
Dude, you're such a caramel elite.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is, and I made reference for it earlier in the show, the Jacob, yes, that's right, Jacob Bromwell Drake lighter. Black and silver is a classic combination, and it features prominently in Jacob Bromwell's Drake lighter, crafted from, oh boy, solid copper, freshly tariffed copper. It has a rolling strike mechanism for one-handed use and a snapshot lid that opens and closes with a satisfying quote, ping. It uses regular butane gas and flint, so it's easy to refill and maintain for years of use. Kristen, before I turn to you, for years I carried a Zippo lighter in my pocket, despite not smoking, because it felt like a cool thing to do. Damian and I have discussed this on the show. What do you believe the retail price for this Jacob Bromwell Drake lighter is?
I don't think I've ever purchased a lighter in my life ever. I don't even know what a cheap lighter costs. Was this limited edition? I'm sorry, did you say?
Or like limited? No, there's no anything of anything. It's just a lighter.
It's $50.
Okay.
Pete, clear this up for me. Was operating a Zippo a two-handed operation for you?
Not at all. In fact, it was a flick on the jeans.
Yeah.
And then you snap it shut. And by the way, no one's smoking. Like I wasn't smoking. My friends weren't smoking. We were athletes, or at least we thought we were. No one was smoking. Dame, what do you pay for that? What do you believe this cost?
I mean, $250.
$350. Although I'll note, final sale, no returns on this right now is $95. Needless to say, when that happens, it means the market at the retail price wasn't there, proving it's a giant waste of money. Dave, what's in the news this week?
Student loan borrowers, brace yourselves. Application backlogs are piling up again. Education Secretary Linda McMahon just filed a court update showing that the Department of Education is still buried in a backlog of income-driven repayment and PSLF buyback requests. As of June 30th, more than 1.5 million IDR applications and over 65,000 PSLF buyback requests remain stuck in the system. The delays were worsened by a temporary processing pause earlier this year and mass layoffs. Now things might get worse because starting August 1st, interest will resume for borrowers in the paused SAVE plan, and over 7 million people are being urged to switch repayment plans over the next year. The fix, the borrowers, I should say, applying for IDR plans should make sure they allow the IRS data tool to be used to confirm income when they're online. But even then, the wait could stretch for months.
I'm not involved in this directly, but indirectly here at Your Money Line, we try to assist people in those things. That's so incredibly frustrating on both the personal level for those involved and the frustration and disappointment at government at large. And so like that's a nightmare. That is a true nightmare.
The one of the articles that I saw about this said at the rate the Department of Education is processing these would take about 2 years to clear all of them. And that's without the 7 million people that are going to be forced out entering the system.
Pete, the phrase you were looking for was disappointed, but not surprised.
Disappointed, not surprised. My wife, when I get home from work, she just holds up that sign. Yeah. Not true. Dane, what else is the news?
After a chaotic start to, quote, crypto week, the House finally got its act together and passed the Genius Act this week. The bill creates federal rules for stable coins, a type of digital currency designed to maintain a fixed value. It's a landmark win for the crypto industry, which has been lobbying for legislation like this for years. The vote marks a major turning point. Crypto firms spent over $130 million on last year's elections to back friendly lawmakers, and now they're seeing results. 2 more votes are expected soon, one on the Clarity Act, which would limit the SEC's role in regulating crypto, and another that would block the government from creating its own digital currency. The last piece was nearly a deal breaker, but lawmakers struck a compromise to tie it to the must-pass defense bill. Surprise, surprise, keeping the crypto agenda alive on Capitol Hill. What was that phrase, Kristen?
Disappointed, but not surprised. I feel like we got the really cynical version of Dame in the news today.
Well, no, here's the thing, though. I hear you on that. I'm actually processing that in real time like you are. I think Dame is not necessarily choosing stories that support his worldview as they're all bums. But at the same time, the rip from the headlines realities happen to support Dame's world viewpoint.
That they're all bums.
Dame, can we have an honest conversation for a moment about the idea that I feel you are winning me over to your team?
I do. I just had that conversation with Mrs. Advice like a week or 2 ago. I was like, I think Pete's starting to crack. I think he sees the logic and the reason in my position on a lot of this.
You and I still disagree on a lot in that world and theories and whatever. It doesn't matter. But on this element, here's what ultimately connects me to the no one is working towards our interest, which is crazy cynical, is the insider trading realities of everyone involved. Like that alone is the big tell to me that has me going, what are we doing? Like, why are we all putting up with that? I'm not calling for anything crazy. Everyone stand down. Like, yeah, take it easy. I'm not that guy. But yeah, Dame, you've won my heart a bit.
Yeah, it should be a pretty easy argument to win. Just look at the way they all treat themselves versus they treat the rest of us. But anyway,
next story. Let's see if Kristen. Let's see if you're right based on what this next story is.
No, actually, you won't. This was story 3 actually in my list. A new study shows that where kids grow up can shape their credit scores for life.
Yeah.
Researchers looked at data from over 25 million people and found that children from low-income families raised in different parts of the country end up with very different credit outcomes. For example, poor kids from Baltimore had much lower credit scores as adults than poor kids from nearby Montgomery County, Maryland. The difference wasn't income, it was behavior. Adults with better credit were more likely to repay loans on time, and many came from communities where poor and wealthy families interacted more. The study also found that Black Americans raised in similar economic conditions still had credit scores about 70 points lower than their white peers, likely due to historic gaps in access to credit. Bottom line is that credit habits aren't just learned at home. They're shaped by neighborhoods, friendships, and opportunity.
And school systems and community support. Like, yeah, I mean, man, this is opening a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to weigh in on today. But yes, yeah, 1,000%. And this is how there's multi-generational poverty, or this is how there's, multi-generational the growing of the wealth gap. Like, yes, this is what happens. And, good, bad, or otherwise, private or public, we've tried to get plans in place to fix that. And it's hard. That's a tough one. But so we talk about funerals today, and then you bring that up and the government ineptitude. Dame, way to go. Way to go. Who programmed the show?
Good show.
Kristen?
I was just going to say, is that really kind of the epitome of Stacy's favorite phrase, which is that personal finance is caught and not taught, saying that the circumstances that you are exposed to shape your financial literacy more than what we aren't taught?
There were some examples in the story that would definitely lend to that being part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I have so many thoughts on this. Can I do it in 10 seconds? Probably not. So I won't. Basically, I'll say this. Once someone find themselves down on luck and it's sort of behind the curve, it's not a matter of now they just need to make good decisions. They actually have to climb out of the hole and then thrive. And that's the hard part. And so with that, I send you good vibes, because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. It's the Pete the Planner Show. God, with some Mr. Rogers stuff. I had to change my shoes and sweater.
I loved him.
Mr. Rogers. No longer funded, Mr. Rogers. Also dead.
I don't think he cares.
I was going to say.
Well, Dame, I will see you at the next tour stop of Coldplay.
You know it.
That's a great story. And just because no video has ever matched the reality quite like that without the words of explanation, it was just the look on the face.
It's great.
But not great in the sense that it's very destructive and none of our business. So, okay. Well, Chris, I hope you and Margaret have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Dame, I hope you and Leftovers have a good night.
Just tonight.
Everyone else, stay getting money.